Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Jankety Ass Podcast. This last week's been, this coming weekend's gonna be a bit of a doozy for me, and this last weekend's kind of been a pain in the ass. I nearly skipped this episode, but, I'm still here, we're still doing this shit, even though it is, the morning of, but, oh, fuck. Already. It's not even 10 in the morning yet. Whew. Anyways, I'm still here. That's all that matters. I'm sure it's going to be a whatever episode, but let's see. What should I start with? So yeah, number 26. Something that I missed the last couple times. I haven't done any Tavour showings, so I am going to do one of those right now. What the hell was that accent? Right now. This is from Crane Brewing Company. T. Weiss. Let's see where these guys from. 4.1%. Sour ale brewed with tea. This might be a bit of a strange one, but I did pick it myself. I have no one to blame but myself. Ooh, brewed in Raytown, Missouri. Interesting. I haven't seen any Missouri brewers pop up yet. But I can already taste it as a little bit of it's sour. Anyways, we got our my glass horn here. It's very foamy too. Ooh, wow, you can smell it. Alright, just give me a second. But anyways, I say this next weekend's gonna be a doozy because I have my old venue job actually has some shifts coming up, starting a little bit later today. Actually, it's like a drive-in thing, so they're in the parking lot. But I will be pretty much almost all week. I got like good 5 days coming up. That's not bad. And I don't have to drive around or take out my own taxes for work. But it does involve standing around in a parking lot, kind of out in the sun. So that's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm going to be dead tired. And Sunday's going to be a real motherfucker, too, because I'm basically pulling a double with my other little job. I think I talked about it, right? I have to sit and watch a testing site in the morning. So that's going to be a pain in the ass, but I mean, who cares, right? It's all about just, at this point, this year, 2020, you take what you can get. And, oh, fuck. That's what I could get. Okay, so that is what T. Weiss looks like. It's a nice orangey color. Kind of like what your piss looks like if you haven't drank water in 5 days or so. But this is beer instead. Actually, take it out of the holding block. Oh yeah, horning up. It's not bad. It's definitely sour, like I said, but since it's made of tea, it doesn't have the same like bitter bite to it like you would expect from, I don't know, like a Sour Patch Kid or something like that. But the taste is a little bit similar. I like it. It's not bad, and it's, like I said, it's only 4.1, so that's not bad for the morning. I haven't had a morning beer in a few years, actually, since I've been in college, I think. So the last time I drank in the morning was, so the college that I went to, Creighton, we had their big thing was basketball, since they were one of those weird colleges that did not actually have a football team. What's interesting is apparently they did until the 1940s, I believe, when, if I remember right, most of the football team that they had signed up for or volunteered for the draft and got sent over to I want to say Europe, but it could have been the Pacific. I don't know. They signed up for World War II, and I guess like they all died in the war or something like that, and the school decided to honor their memory by completely axing their football program. I don't really get the logic there, but whatever. Plus, also, which is interesting now because they're in Nebraska, which the only football they have is the Huskers, which is UNL. A little ways away. There isn't even any professional NFL teams there. There's just the Huskers, and they are Husker fans are crazy. Well, mostly because they don't really have anything else. But yeah, Husker fans are kind of they're a little nutty. They're not exactly riot on the streets when you win nutty, but I would say they're almost like superstitious. I would also say that Husker fans are kind of like groundhogs too. Well, again, that's superstitious. I know. Well, it's weird because like any time where I was living in Omaha, there was not. The tradition wasn't to go out and see the game. People would just like stay home. I don't know. It's a Midwest city too, so they don't have the same sensibilities as far as going out is concerned, just in general. So people would always just like stay home and watch the games for whatever reason. On game night, a lot of the bars were just kind of dead. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But although I guess in a way I wouldn't mind, because then there's like less people, that I have to deal with. But no, I say they're like groundhogs, because I remember one night I was out at my the bar that my friend worked at, and this was like, I guess like the one night of the season that a bunch of people decided, let's actually go out and see the game, right? So it was the whole bar was literally just full of Husker fans. Completely. Everybody's wearing the red and the white, and they were all they were more of the older generation too. So, everybody was out, and I remember the Huskers were playing against Texas A&M, or no, the Longhorns, whichever one that is, Texas State, I believe. So on the side, I do kind of wonder what my life would have been like if I'd been to like a big party state school. Probably a lot different. I don't know if I'd be in LA, but well, whatever. I'm glad I'm here. Anyhow, so they were playing against Texas, and it was a very tight game, and everybody was, cheering, yay, and boo Texas, all that bullshit, right? So the game gets down to about like 30 seconds left, and I believe we as in Nebraska was up by like three points or something small, ridiculous like that, right? And in that last 30 seconds, they were whatchamacallit, I want to say not the kickoff, but whenever everybody's lined up and ready to go. So the down that's the word I'm thinking of. The last down of the game was in the Huskers end zone. But you know how whenever you're watching a game like that last 30 or 20 seconds or whatever, everybody just kind of like stops and just sort of starts milling around because it's like, oh, game's over, whatever, good game, yada, yada, yada. So that starts happening. And like I said, they were in the Huskers end zone. And so, yeah, everybody like stops and just sort of starts milling around and starts, doing like high fives and stuff. Or, well, shaking hands. You don't high five your opponents. Excuse me while I get a drink in. But, so then the Texas head coach starts running out in the field, just like waving his arms around like, no, you shut the fuck up, get back in line, the game's not over. And, also calling a timeout too, or whatever. And of course, for us, we're like, okay, yeah, timeout. And, the coach, Texas coach gets all the teams in the huddle, and he was, like, yelling at him, like, don't fucking stop. Yeah, we still got time here. So they get back out on the line. There's, 15 seconds left or whatever, right? And they're, let's see, they're lined up, maybe 15 yards away from, the Huskers end zone. So Texas gets the ball, runs it in, scores a touchdown, and wins at the last minute. Now, so I'm at this bar. I'm at the bar that my friends work at, right? I'm the only person there who isn't a Husker fan. I'm not opposed, but I just don't give a shit. It's not. I don't have anything to do with really any sports anymore, really, right? I tell you, that whole bar was just dead silent after that. They'd also, whenever everybody started milling around and stuff like that on the field, everybody in the bar, started cheering yeah, we won, yeah. No, they completely gone. Their whole life flashed before their eyes. You could hear a fucking pin drop in this place, and I'm pretty sure somebody screamed Wilhelm type of shit. It was so hard for me not to just burst out laughing. I would have had to run out of the bar after that, because I would have been, chased down by a bunch of boomers, pretty much. I don't know, that was funny. This is part of my old life in Nebraska, which I do miss, but I don't know. I'm never gonna like it more than I would like LA. So that's not happening. Unless something insane happens here. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, as a city they've been going through a real ringer with, shutdowns and riots and protests and all that type of stuff. So no, whatever. Oh, and also, speaking of my school, Mole's school, like I said, we all had nicknames on our floor. And we also, this was also, the other thing that my school was kind of big for was they also had a pretty decent soccer program, apparently. I don't know, I don't give a shit. We only went once or twice. But I remember for the first game of the season, the majority of my floor, we all went. And one of the guys had shirts made for us. It's G5, that was our, our dorm floor. And you can see that it's in the shape of a cock and balls, a couple of soccer balls. 90 minutes, 11 positions. And on the back, here, I'll get up and show you, is my dorm nickname. Poncho, number 92. We all had numbers. I'm pretty sure I would not be surprised if I'm the only one who actually kept this shirt. That's just me, a little bit of nostalgia. And, I haven't really been. Well, I don't really have a reason to go back anymore. I don't really have any close friends that even live in Omaha anymore. One kind of that I hung out with for a while back in my well, I actually was one of my roommates in sophomore year, but I don't know, he kind of went. Well, he transferred to a different school because one of the things that was not offered in my school was engineering degree, so he ended up going somewhere else, and then he just kind of did his own thing, and you know how it is, people just kind of drift apart. It's just what happens. But anyways, it was kind of a good time. At the same, I know college is one of those college years. That's one thing that like that's one of those, you know, if I knew what I knew now, I would go. That's one thing I would do over again. I would do better. Just because, like, in a way, I mean, I obviously learned, you know, a few things, but in a way, I kind of came out with not much anything. I don't know. That's just what happens. And you know, they say that, like, you actually learn more in your adult years than you ever did in school, really. Especially with our education system, which needs to be fixed, but that's not what this show's about today. So, let's see, what are some other things? Oh, so as far as the show goes, I'm doing even more changes. Like I said, I changed my profile to kind of be an over-encompassing thing. So, you know, look up Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram, and also on my YouTube channel. I changed it to that. Obviously, this podcast for other sources is still the Jankety Ass Podcast, and always will be. So I made an all my links page that is going to be on my profile, and it also at the bottom of the description here, you can see the link to that. And so that's just a nice way to collect all my, you know, web links and profiles and all that bullshit. So you can just go there and check it out. And of course, the ones that are featured are on the top. So the YouTube channel and my my network Instagram profile for this. And I will eventually make a Facebook page, but I'll get. All right, that's just one of those things that I haven't quite done yet. Let's see. Also, the first episode of the Poncho's Paint Booth is also up on my YouTube channel. And what I did is I separated them by playlists. It's whatever. I think there's a way to do sub-channels, but I'm not aware of how to do it. And, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm trying to get monetized. And, of course, the way to do that is to just kind of have all my, any of my would-be viewers, I just want them all in the same place. For now, anyways. I'm obviously not, you know, anywhere. A guy with 20 followers ain't making shit yet. I think I would actually need to have, 1,000 subscribers? I think it was, well, on YouTube, it's 1,000 subscribers and 400 watched hours. But, and then I'm still working on getting the Twitch thing up and running. I think, I don't know, well, it depends how I feel, but I'm going to be working quite a bit this next weekend. So I think like after I'm done with this current run of shifts, then I will actually go ahead and start looking into the whole Twitch thing. But in the meantime, I mean, you know, I would only have like another episode of this to do real quick. And I already have some of my paint booth videos loaded up, so I got a couple more weeks waiting in the wings to whatchamacallit, to be released on YouTube. You know, which means that, you know, I already have them uploaded and all that stuff. It's just on a schedule, which is nice. So, I also decided to go ahead and add in another little pseudo segment to the podcast here, which is going to be the CDHaul. Now, before podcasts came around, you know, for me anyways, everything's all about music, right? And like I've already said several times, I'm a huge metal fan. And I'm also the kind of person who I like, you know, some physical. I'm materialistic, I guess. You know, I got enough of that immigrant gene in me that I still like going to the mall every once in a while. You know, I'm not completely phased out from it. But anyways, the point being is that you know, especially with music, I like to buy an album when I can. I don't really use like a streaming service as far as music goes. And I try to avoid like an iTunes purchase for music if I can find the actual CD. But I don't, well, more and more now, especially if you're listening to like an EP, you know, there's no physical CD. You're not going to find that. But in the meantime, there are some physical ones that I found. And the first one that I'm going to show you guys, not listen because I don't want to get demonetized. And I mean, that's kind of a pain in the ass. I don't really have like any live switching or anything like that, or any production. I just record and then edit later. But so what I'm doing is just like, if I get anything in a week or in a previous week, I'll go ahead and put them up or show them to you guys. So for last week, one of the first CDs I got was a little band called the Black Crown Initiate, metal band. Their new album, Violent Portraits of Doomed Escape. Now, this band, they're well, I'll link them to show you guys, right? So you guys can look them up on your own. But you know, they're a metal band. They got some progressive elements, and I've seen them in concert a couple times, and the first time I saw them was like right as their first album came out. This is actually their third album now. And the second time I saw them was when their second album came out. But I forget who I saw them with. But yeah, that was my introduction was live. And I was pretty much just hooked ever since. They have, let's see, how many people are in this band? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 5 of them. So they have, their lead singer is, you know, straight up death metal guy. And then they have 2 singers actually. So the one main guy does the growls and the real tense shit, and then they have a second guy who's like just a regular singer. He's got a great voice, and he's also one of the guitarists. And he also has one of the biggest beards I've ever seen. Just a big fucking giant red beard. Pretty cool. They got a drummer in there, of course, and then I did like their bass drummer looks like a real technical guy, and well, he's bald, or no, he has a short cropped hair, and he wears his guitar up here. He like look wise, he doesn't fit in, and he literally looks like at some point, he said like, I will accept the challenge, and just kind of got into the band that way. But anyways, they're a cool band. You guys should go check them out, and they've been doing decently. I mean, they space out their obviously before now, they had they were fortunate enough to get this CD out this year during the pandemic. At least I think in this case they already had it recorded, so it was pretty much ready to go when everything shut down. So, good for them. The next band is not one that really definitely doesn't need my help, but this is actually a reissue CD from. No, that's not right. Or is it? It's either the 80s or the early 90s. The band Death. Death is in death metal. That's got to be kind of cool when you think about it. You're like, yeah, man, we managed to copyright the name Death for our fucking band. Kind of jealous, actually. But this is their album Leprosy. They're pretty much like a thrash death metal, which is basically the same vein as Slayer. If you guys ever, but a little bit more a little bit more old school and, I guess underrated, could say. But I do. Here I am again with the fucking yawning. I only woke up like a little bit ago, but yeah, I listen to these guys every once in a while. And, well, Death is, like classic death metal. So if you ever feel like getting into death metal, this is one of the bands that you should check out. I mean, I liked them enough to spend money on it, so that's my barometer, at least. And then, of course, you know what? Fuck. I want to see. I actually want to see when this thing was released. If I could find a fucking year. Okay. Oh. Without breaking the case. But like I said, this one was reissued and remastered. Alright, where are you? Oh, Jesus Christ. The re-release was 2013. So I got a forward in here from Ian Christie, as a matter of fact. Okay, so there's no original year, but it is an older album. Like I said, this re-release was 2013, but I only just got it this week through Amazon, actually, because the record store that I used to go to, well, obviously they're not open right now. Shout out to Amoeba in Hollywood. They will be opening again, however, because before, like right towards the end of last year, they had leased out space a couple blocks away, so they've actually been, while everything is shut down, they've been working on that area. And unfortunately, they weren't, well, I guess not unfortunately, but they had decided not to reopen until they were in the new space. Because the idea is, obviously, they were just going to be open until they had to move all their merchandise or whatever over. But, so, it's going to be a little bit. Anyways, and of course, the last album in my CDHaul is our good boy Marilyn Manson and his latest album, We Are Chaos. That one just came out this year. I haven't really dove into this one yet. But yeah, so some of what I've heard so far is pretty decent. His radio hit, the same album name is, well, it's not one of my favorites. It's a little bit more ballady. Also, if you don't know who Marilyn Manson is by now, you're under a rock. And even more interesting now is, well, he's got some controversy. He's got some Me Too shit starting to pop up with him. I'm sure it's not the first time, too. I mean, it's Manson that we're talking about. Anyways, those are my CDs for the week. For this week. I probably won't do this every week. Who knows? I'm only going to do it with, like, stuff that's new, too. I'm not going to, dig through my shelf. Or, well, I say new. New as in, like, I just received. I'm not going to, dig stuff out of my shelf that I've had for years and be like, oh, look what I got. Check this out. Oh, maybe I should, but I'm not going to. Oh. Okay, anyways. Ooh, nice. As far as this week goes, or last week actually was kind of a pain in the ass. Well, this whole month has been kind of money-wise has been kind of a real pain in the ass, because as you guys remember, I wasn't even in town for, like, the first half of the month, so... And because, my main source of income right now has been through Postmates, well, I can't work outside of my my zone, which right now is, the main part of Los Angeles. And, which is very far away from, middle of nowhere, South Dakota. There goes you guys again. Blah. Middle of nowhere, so I wasn't making any money when I was back home. And then as soon as I got back, we went out a couple times, and then suddenly I was stuck watching my friend's dog, which, I was able to work like a little bit, but not anywhere near as much. Because this thing, I mean, well, A, it's a dog, attention, but B, this was like, this dog's like a hard to deal with dog, right? Because, I mean, it's geriatric, basically. It's a short little chihuahua. It's got like little chicken wing legs. So she can't take steps at all, hardly. And she hates people, pretty much. Like even me, I was watching her for like almost a week, right? And even towards the end, even though it's like, I've been feeding you, I've been letting you out to, do your business out front, and but still like, well, I'm not sure about you. She just doesn't like Mexicans, I don't know. And the thing is, like, my friend, what they usually do is to go outside, they'll just pick her up. So the owner, she lets pick her up. Her boyfriend, my roommate, kinda, sort of, but she'll, like, nip at him, or whatever. Me, I tried picking this fucking bitch up, and she started thrashing like you just pulled a big old tuna out of a lake or whatever. Kind of a pain in the ass to hold on to, especially if you're walking around, and I'm not gonna risk, dropping someone else's dog, because it would probably kill her. So, well, for a while, the biggest problem was, obviously, like, I had to keep her in my room so that she wouldn't try and go upstairs to their room, because if she started rolling down the stairs, that'd be all she wrote. But then I couldn't stay out and work, because I would have to keep coming back to make sure that she doesn't, take a shit in my room, which she did at one point, and she pissed in our kitchen. It's kind of easy to clean up because, it's a little dog, so it's not, like, a lot, but it's still. And it's linoleum, I guess, so it could have been worse, but was a pain in the ass. Anyway, well, whatever. A little cute dog, even if she is a, little bigoted bitch. Pretty much. Let's see. And so she has a problem with steps. And especially our living room to go out the front door, there's a very big step going down. Her, big for a little Chihuahua dog. And this thing doesn't know how to just step down. She'll, fly and jump like Superman. And yeah, the last time she did it on those steps, she literally just, belly flopped and slammed her chin on the floor. Which in order to try and solve this, I made like a little doggy ramp. I had an extra shelf lying around, so I would just put that out, which she would kind of slide down. But the time that she belly flopped, I'd even put the shelf, I put a ramp down, and she just went around to the side and launched, slammed onto the ground, because dogs are stupid, right? At least this one is. I thought I would solve the problem by getting harness. Because you can get those doggy harnesses where it straps underneath the it has the front and the back, and it kind of goes sort of around the neck, and then also around the chest. With a handle in the back, so you can just carry him around. Well, it took me all week and a whole fucking bag of treats just to get that fucking thing on her. So basically, by the time I went to pick up the owners from the airport to come back, I was watching the dog because they were out of town, obviously, not just for fun, never. But what was I gonna say? So yeah. I wasn't able to, make a whole lot of use of that, but I don't know, maybe they will, especially in an event where, I have to deal with her later, hopefully. I don't know, that was my weekend. Dealing with a little shithead dog. Who, of course, we all like little dogs, too. I don't know, it just sucks though, because most dogs are fine with me. I've only ever had 3 dogs in my life that would not warm up to me. This one was one of them. Another one was one of my friends who used to live back home had a a husky lab mix that for some reason was scared shitless of me, literally peed the floor when she first saw me, for whatever fucking reason. I have no idea why. And this dog was big enough to tear my throat out too if it really wanted to. But scared shitless. And then the third one was another friend's dog, but that wasn't so much that it couldn't warm up to me. It was more that it couldn't, see, smell, or hear. Right, this thing was old and dying, and actually, unfortunately passed away sometime last year, so I don't really count it. But most dogs, are fine with me. Even if they're not for my friend's wedding for this last trip that I had earlier this month. And I also went to visit them at their house. They hosted me at their house for a little bit. And they have a little black Shiba Inu. And, this is one of those smaller dogs that gets stressed out anytime anything's out of order. And apparently because I came in through the front door, I was registered as a pseudo home invader as far as this dog was concerned. So, but I mean, she was still for the most part friendly, but she would just, she or he, I don't even really know. But this thing was just barking at me all the time. But still, coming up to me and, kind of trying to get my attention. Just ruff, ruff. And then whenever I'd give it the attention, just run away. Or whatever. But even that one eventually warmed up to me. So, I don't know. Most dogs like me. Which, Some people would argue that's all that really matters in life. Let's see. Oh, I got a little bit of beer left. I suppose now would be a good time to get a little bit of post-apocalypse in. So let's do that. What is this? What is the fuck? Oh. Alright, dead air. Let's pull up some shit. I'll do a couple articles. Alright. Just until I finish this. First article. 10 things you need to know to stop a coup. A coup being a takeover of government. So this article is basically about the fact that this basically came out after Trump basically alluded to the idea that he just might not leave. You know what I mean? Even if he gets elected out, which I'm not sure how that would look. I mean, he would have to get, just fucking dragged out. Or something. I would hope so anyway. And this actually reminds me of another story going back to Creighton. One of my old roommates in my sophomore year was kind of a whiny little conniving piece of shit, right? And well, he was also part of one of my friends' fraternity, and in the following year, moved into their frat house, which no longer exists anymore. Interesting. There's a whole other stories for that, but so the following year, he moved into their house. That would have been junior year, and he actually ended up being the fraternity president. Literally because of the fact that just nobody else wanted to do it for whatever reason. Like, nobody really took it seriously, I guess. And I know from what my friend told me, he was basically like the worst thing that had ever happened to them. He was he was the kind of guy who, well, I mean, every fraternity, it's a college, right? So they always try and ding you for, having parties and neighborhood disturbances and all that shit. Usually, the unwritten rule of being a fraternity president is that it's your job to kind of keep the school and the rest of the community off your guys' backs. He was basically the exact opposite. He was like a sycophant. Now, here's how this guy was a piece of shit. So, after being a president, the next year he quit the fraternity. Like, that's, just complete opposite reversal, which, it's not a good look for you. And worse, the point that I'm trying to make is he refused to leave the house, even though he was not part of the fraternity anymore. And I don't know how they let it go. Like, I'm surprised they didn't just like take all of his shit and throw it out into the front yard. Probably because he cried about it or something like that. But anyway, so that's basically Donald Trump. He's a piece of shit and he won't leave. So he'll probably have to get dragged out. And there were some other things about him too. Kind of more recently. Oh, motherfucker. Alright, so one of my articles doesn't exist anymore. That's nice. Alright, well, I'll skip that one. Here is the next one. And we'll make this the last one. I'll only do a couple this week. Trump supporters get fact-checked to their faces in viral video. I do not see the video, but I imagine it involves a lot of people, basically getting shamed in some way, shape, or form. They deserve it. And this isn't the first time that I've seen anything like this either. I don't know, because I used to watch the Daily Show a few years back when we still had cable. And I know they would go out to various Trump rallies and such, and kind of lay the facts on them, and everybody would end up looking stupid, basically, or worse, indignant. You'd always get like, well, I don't care what the facts are. That's my president. That's my Jesus. I'm gonna vote for him. There's people that think that Trump is like their Jesus, which really he's just the biggest con man there is. And I mean, I can actually believe this too. I don't know if I had told you guys before, but I remember the time when I was, I don't even remember exactly what it was. I think it was like with my first year of college. I'd gone back home for the summer, and they were having, it was getting into like Senate, or it was either Senate or House electoral seasons. But yeah, so we ended up going to a Republican rally for I think it was a House representative. And well, we really only went because one of my aunts is a Republican, right? We just went for the food, pretty much. So, we went there, and I was a kid, right? And I was just going into college, and when you're at that age, you don't know anything. You don't know shit. So I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't care, or whatever. I was just there for the food too. But yeah, so anyways, the what's her face? The candidate was up, she gave her speech, and then everybody got in, big old lines to get food and stuff like that. And she would go down the line, and like every fourth or fifth person, she would, shake their hand like, thanks for. And I remember there was this one older lady in front of me who, she was like waiting to say hi, basically, right? We were in the food line, but she didn't like, put out her hand like, oh, hi, thank you for running or whatever like that. She just kind of, stood there looking expectantly. And when our candidate, kind of ended up walking by, without shaking anybody's hand, yeah, she'd gone down to the next person. I remember this fucking old lady in front of me, she's turning around, she's like, well, she didn't shake my hand, so I'm not voting for her. And that's pretty much what, small town Republicans are. Just shitheads, I guess. And that was the first and last political rally that I've been to. I don't ever plan on go to another one. I don't need to. I got better things to go to, better ways to use my time. And speaking of time, that is our time. So thank you again for watching the podcast or listening to the podcast. Again, find me on Instagram, find this on YouTube, find this wherever you get your podcasts. There's a bunch more directories that I'm listed in. I'm still waiting on Pandora though, because I've been under review for like the last 4 or 5 months or so. I don't think I'm gonna get that one. Maybe I could probably write an email if I ever get around to it, but so yeah, I got this show. I got the Poncho's paint booth has started. I will put a link right around here and to the playlist as well. And then eventually you're going to start seeing some Twitch videos too. So, and that's going to be all video games for now. I might do some other things later too. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see. Anyways, again, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.